friends, welcome to the Point. In this session, let's discuss about the registration of political parties. So the Election Commission has said that it reduced the public notice period for a new political parties seeking registration from 30 days to 7 days due to the delays caused by COVID-19 pandemic. So this relaxation in the notice period, it would remain in force till the last date of the nomination for Assam, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Puducherry and West Bengal elections. That is March 19th and April 7th respectively. So according to these guidelines, the applicants are supposed to publish the proposed name of their party in 2 national and local daily newspapers each on 2 days, seeking objections, if any, within the 30 days. Registration of political parties. The registration of political parties, it is governed by the provisions of Section 29A of the Representation of Peoples Act 1951. So, a party seeking registration under the Section 29 of the Representation of People Act 1951 with the Election Commission, it has to submit an application to the Commission within the said period following the date of its formation as per the guidelines that is prescribed by the Election Commission of India in exercise of the powers that is conferred by Article 324 of the Commission of India and Section 29 of the Representation of the Peoples Act 1951. That means a particular day or a particular timing will be given for the registration. Within that, the party should submit an application to the Election Commission. So how will we get to know that a party is eligible for National Political Party of India or not? So now let's discuss about that. First thing, the party should secure at least 6% of valid votes which is polled in any 4 or more states at general election to the House of the People, that is to the State Legislative Assembly. It should secure 6% of a valid vote. And that should be a valid votes which is polled in any 4 or more states. So in addition to this, it wins at least 4 seats in the House of People from any state or states. And the third point is it wins at least 2% seats in the House of the People. That is the 11 seats in existing house which is having 543 members, and these members are elected from at least 3 different states. So this is the eligibility for National Political Party of India. In the similar manner, even there is an eligibility for state political party. So to be eligible for a state political party, it secures at least 6% of a valid votes which is polled in state at a general election. In general election, it should have won 6% of the valid votes either to the House of the People or to the Legislative Assembly of the states concerned. So in addition to this, it should win at least 2 seats in Legislative Assembly of a particular state, and it should win at least 3% of total number of seats in the Legislative Assembly of the state, or at least 3 seats in the assembly, whichever is more. So if a party is eligible for a state political party or National Political Party of India, then what are the benefits? So if a party, suppose if a party is recognized by a state party, then it is entitled for exclusive allotment of its reversed symbol to candidates which is set up by it in the state which is to be recognized. And if a party is recognized as a national party, it is entitled for exclusive allotment of its reserved symbol to the candidates set up by it throughout the India. So the recognized state and national parties, they need only one proposer for filling the nomination, and they are entitled for 2 seats of electoral rolls, which is free of cost at the time of revision of rolls, and their candidates get 1 copy of electoral rolls that is also free of cost during general elections. They also get broadcast or telecast facilities over Akashvani or Doordarshan during general elections. So talking about the travel expense, the travel expenses of star campaigners are not to be accounted for in the election expense accounts of the candidates of their party. So this is about the registration of political parties, and also we studied about the eligibility for becoming a national political party of India, and also to become a state political party in India, and what are the benefits if that particular party is registered for state political party or national political party. So we have read this in detail. For prelims point of view, just learn the differences between state versus national parties, what are the benefits of recognized political parties, and who is a star campaigner. And as I have said, study about Article 324 of Indian Constitution, and study about Section 29A of RPA 1951 Act, which is nothing but the Representation of People Act 1951. So this is enough for the prelims point of view. So see you in the next session with some other interesting topic. Thank you.